What is up, everyone? I have the beautiful Brookie next to me and the also beautiful Brittany.
Hi.
And
hey, guys.
this is podcast number...
Is it 8 or 7?
8.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Now, my wife's going to go crazy because I'm going 8 like this, and she would like me to do 3 like this, but
like this?
Purposely don't...
What?
Oh, wait, yeah.
You do like this, not like
no,
this.
No, you do like this, but I go like this because... Years ago in the auctions, when I would bid, like I said, I was going to bid 3,000. I'd be like this.
Well, they say that, like, if you ask a guy to put up the number 3, they immediately do this. That's, like, a thing.
Yeah,
really?
So, there you go.
3. I obviously wouldn't say number 3 like this, but when you're counting, that's how it works. You go 1, 2, 3. You don't go
cool,
1, 2, 3, 4. Like, it doesn't make sense.
What if you're real cool and you do this?
Wait, these poor...
So stupid.
The people who don't watch the video version are probably like, what's going on?
Plug it, Brittany.
Yeah, watch the YouTube version because it's better than audio.
Absolutely what she said. So, I have a few things that I want to talk about today because I just feel like it's necessary. We kind of just talk about whatever on here, but I think that today we should dive a little bit deeper and talk about important things that maybe you don't get to talk about or vent about, and it's nice to be able to relate to people in a way. So I think
I'm nervous.
Me too. I just got a little nervous, and I'm really known for my nerves of steel, you know?
I just want to talk about like getting out of your comfort zone. Now, for you guys, what would you say that you're do you have a comfort zone? Like, I don't see
100%.
You. Of course you do, Brittany, but do you have a comfort zone? Is there a level of something where you just like, like I'm not going to do that. That makes me feel uncomfortable.
Well, there is one thing. If you guys could believe this or not, I am known as cameraman. I was not comfortable when there was a camera on me. Now,
isn't that crazy?
I'm almost addicted to the camera.
He really is.
If anyone could understand what I mean.
So that would put you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I didn't like I didn't like to be on camera. I used to be like, get away, which a lot of people did and still do that. But once you get in front of it, you do get comfortable.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Okay, and now
and public speaking.
I would like to point out. Now you don't speak in front of a crowd, but you talk to a lot of people through the camera.
True.
I would like to point out the fact that you thought, okay, that makes me really uncomfortable. That's not something that I like to do. Mm-hmm. You now do that, and you now love it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you didn't push yourself to do that, you would have never known that you would love it so much, and it would bring you so much joy, and it would bring you so much more than that, a big audience.
I love it.
So it's so important to push yourself out of your comfort zone.
I fully agree with that.
What for you is like, okay, that's not it. I don't want to push myself past that.
I can't think of anything like off the top of my head, but one thing that I was always like nervous, not like scared. I was just like, that's not me. Like, I don't know if I would like
makes you uncomfortable.
That. Yeah, is working out, and I tried it once, and I'm absolutely in love with it. And it's not only good for like my mind. No. It's not only amazing for like just like it's just like
your body.
A good thing to do. It's just like good to like get your heart pumping, stuff like that. But it's also amazing for like your mind and knowing that you like accomplished that in a day. It just it's great, and I love it so much. But that's 100% one thing I would have never done if I didn't like get pushed to do.
And now that you did it,
I am obsessed with it. And
it's something that you love, and you would have never known that you'd love it if you'd just be like, oh, 100%. It's not really for me. But another thing is that sometimes when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, it's not going to be good. Yes. It's not always going to be good. You're going to sometimes you're going to have a bad experience, but you'll learn from whatever that may be. So that's important.
You have to go out there and go for it and give it a shot. And,
I fully agree.
You don't have to.
It gives you confidence when you do that.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, let's say you're not comfortable like me. I wasn't crazy about being on camera, but when you first start and you want to put yourself on camera, no matter what it is, whether it's TikTok or whatever, or just you're not going to get a ton of views. So it's not like it's not like you're going to go out there and you're kind of getting like you're putting your toes in the water because you're not going to go out there and go, oh my God, 5 million people just saw me today. First time I ever put a video up. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's so
no,
not
it's
realistic.
like you'll do a video. You'll kind of get comfortable. It won't be your best video because it's one of your first ones.
Mine was
and not
horrible.
everyone's going to see it. So you don't have to worry about,
Yeah.
everyone's going to see that I didn't do good or I wasn't comfortable. I didn't know how I looked. I didn't like how I spoke.
You just gotta do it.
And as you get better, more people will see you, and it just comes together.
You have to be fearless.
Yes, I want to tell a little short story about recently when I went outside of my comfort zone and what it did for me.
Share.
Me and Brittany went to a Justin Bieber concert, and
yes.
we wanted to go so bad. We love Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
we got the
forever.
opportunity to get floor seats the day before, so I just made a quick decision. Okay, we're gonna go. So it's just me and Brittany,
Which we never do. Like, we never, like, go out. Just, like, well,
we do.
we do, but not, like, far
Not-
or, like,
yeah.
to, like, a huge event or anything like
For
that.
example, here we drove to Jersey, and we're from Long Island, so that's an hour ride. You got to drive through the city. You have to drive through Jersey. You got to go Jersey. You got to go on bridges. It's a whole drive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's big.
crazy.
It's a lot, and especially
And
during rush
confusing.
hour, because the GPS will take you on 10 different highways. That's what it did to us. So I was a little. That's definitely out of my comfort zone. And now, when I'm with Brittany, obviously I feel good because I have someone with me. But like I'm her
yeah.
like guardian. She's my little sister, you know. So I don't have someone. Obviously, she looks after me too, but you know,
Yeah,
it was up to
it's not
me
like-
in this
yeah.
situation. And I said, I'm going to do this not just because I want to see Justin Bieber. I'm going to do this so that I can prove to myself that I can do this. Because I need to do this. I can't, this is ridiculous. I live in New York. There's going to come times where I have to drive through hard highways and stuff. So I did it. And the whole time I was very anxious, but I wasn't really like showing it much. I was just
Yeah.
kind of like chill, but to myself I was
Flipping out.
anxious, you know? And it wasn't like an amazing experience driving there.
Yeah, but
I get to the concert, I have a great time, and I'm like, let me just enjoy this. I know I have to look back on a drive after, but I'm just going to enjoy myself. Enjoyed it, and then I'm like, all right, now we have another drive. So another drive, I was pretty anxious, but it was better.
yeah, it
Less
was
traffic,
yeah.
you know?
It was a lot easier.
I
than
get
the other.
home and I'm like, I'm alive, you know? Like, it may have been hard in the moment and I was stressed out in the moment, but I just kept looking forward to the fact that I was going to be safe home in my bed and I was going to be fine and I'm going to be able to tell myself, you're able to do that and you did it. So I got home and I felt so proud of myself that I did that. And it made me feel more confident to go and do other things because that was such a big task. I mean, you don't have to do what I did where you really jump the gun and do the biggest thing first. But it made me feel more confident in doing other things that put me outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah, and I got a call before Brooke left, and she said, Dad, I'm going to the city. I'm going to New Jersey to see Justin Bieber. And it was probably like, I don't know, 3 o'clock. She says, what's the best way to go? And there's probably 10 different ways I could have. At first, I didn't even know exactly where she was going in New Jersey because there's a few different spots. And it was like, what's the best way to go? And there's like 10 different ways. I'm like, listen, go on your ways and follow it. And that will tell you the shortcuts, how to beat the traffic. Because I could tell her to go one way, that'll be great with no traffic. Or I could tell her to go another way, and she might not make it there on time. I didn't know. So you go with your ways. You trust it, and I said, go, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, I might have to go through the city. Don't worry about it. Whatever it says to do, you'll be fine. And you go, you do it.
One thing that one thing about me, well, I also just got my own car, so I'm never really out alone. I was always with someone, like, because obviously I couldn't, like, be alone in the car because I didn't have my license yet. But, one thing that made me really nervous and like scared is just like going out alone, and I've been doing that and it makes me feel so much better, and that's also like getting out of my comfort zone. Another thing is going into stores alone, but I went to CVS the other day and I
There
did
you
it all
go.
alone.
Baby steps.
And
And
And-
slowly but
yes.
surely you will. And I just think it's important to do those things for yourself because who else is going to do it for you? Nobody.
Yeah.
You got to do it yourself. But it's also just important to talk about this. I feel like mine and Brittany's generation is definitely more
like
open about these
Yes.
things. And I know that your viewers who are watching, Dad, they're now all of our viewers, but you know, my people who come over from Neutral Drop, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it's not as big of a conversation for you guys to talk about things like this.
Well,
You know,
could
and I
give a
think
little-
it's important for them to have someone to relate to, because I don't know, maybe you guys don't get to really talk about this stuff.
I could give you a little perspective from my generation and the way we looked at things, okay? It went like this. Your biggest fear was fear of criticism. Fear of criticism from your friends, your family, people around you. I mean, even going down to the car that you bought. You notice that when we grew up, you either bought a Grand Prix, a Monte, or a Buick Regal. If you bought anything else and you pulled up to the schoolyard, oh my, you were getting abused. It was like, you bought
Really?
that Nissan out of, you're a sucker. It was the weirdest thing. But
that's
it was all,
very weird.
but that's like something that could make you anxious. Like, in other words, if
definitely.
you're like, you know, and then everybody, you know, who went on the police department, the sanitation, fire department. It was like, if you wanted to start your own business, it was almost like, you're gonna be a big businessman, ha 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 ha. And not just from your family too. It was just a crazy thing. So it was like fear of criticism was a big thing that stopped you. And I always had that mentality of, yes, you didn't want that criticism. As you get a little bit older and you start to break away from, you know, the hanging out with the kids at the schoolyard all the time, you just go for it. And no, you're not going to be successful right off the bat. No, you might get looked at like, what are you doing, selling a car? You're not going to sell that car. So not that they're hating, but it's so, even when people try to be nice, you still get that negativity, but you have to keep that positive. So that's like one of those things where, you know, you're getting outside your comfort zone because you could fail in front of everyone, and everyone could, and you do fail. And you know what? A failure is one step closer to success. That's what it is. Every failure you learn from it. So yeah,
you're not going to fail in your comfort zone because you're not pushing
absolutely
yourself.
because you're not pushing yourself.
And I also feel like with what we do, that also comes with a lot of what you were just saying. Like, no one really understands unless you do YouTube. Like, not that many people in my life are like this, but like I've definitely seen people like this, like in person, being like, so why aren't you working? I'm like, I literally
that just
have
happened to us.
Yeah, that literally happened
yesterday.
I was like, oh well, I actually have a full-time job where I make money, so I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
I don't even like care to prove it to people though.
No, it genuinely
doesn't
angers
bother me
for no reason.
Listen, I was roasted from every angle when I first started my YouTube channel. I come from a part, I mean, listen, it's a lot more normalized now, but when I started YouTube, I was 17. It was not normal for the people that I was hanging out with, who all they did was drink and go to parties every weekend, to do something out of the ordinary like this.
Yes.
So I heard from left and right people who were like, Brooke really thinks she's going to start a YouTube channel. That's ridiculous. Da, 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 da. I did not care because I knew they just didn't understand. And even people in my life, like especially older people, they just didn't understand. And I never let that bother me because I simply just knew that's all it was. They don't get it. And one day when I'm making money and have a life from this, they'll understand and I'll make them understand. And now they do. And now I don't hear it from anybody in my life because they think that I'm doing amazing and they're so proud of me. And you know, you never know what you can get from taking that jump and taking the risk and almost putting yourself out there that you almost feel embarrassed, but you shouldn't because you are in control of your own life.
Absolutely.
Also, another thing that I think is really important to talk about is like, I don't know how to word this, but just like the people in your life, like who is proud of you, and like I don't know how to word it without sounding like stupid, but like who cares for you and who's proud of you when you make accomplishments for yourself.
Yeah, you can definitely tell.
That
absolutely
is a huge thing with me, and I'm sure with a lot of you who watching this podcast right now. Like, I got a new car and I'm just like
very proud.
Thank you.
Very proud.
But I'm just like, I can tell how you feel about me right now because you didn't say a word.
Yep.
Not that I care. I genuinely don't care. It's just if they did care, they would be like, oh my God, I'm so like, just like say at least something.
Mm-hmm. But if it was beneficial to them and they wanted to pull up in a nice car to a party or to whatever, you'd be their best friend.
Right. Exactly. That's yes.
People hate you until you become successful and make them look cooler.
I knew you could do it.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Were literally your biggest hater.
Can I get a percentage off of your business? You know?
Look,
it's like you're such a loser until you make it big and it's beneficial for them. Oh, perfect. Can I buy a car from you? Can I get a percentage off?
I know. It's not, listen, it's not even
crazy.
that. I used to get a lot. All you do is sell cars. Or I would get, you still selling cars? I don't get that anymore, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, was I out there to prove you wrong?
No,
I was out there doing my thing, having my eye on the prize, and it used to drive me crazy because, you know, when I was young, there were times when I was very unsuccessful at trying to become successful, and people would look at you like, what are you doing? Like, I'd hear like, what is he doing? And I knew I had my eye on the goal because, listen, no one wakes up Bill Gates. No one wakes up.
It takes a lot of
nobody
hard work.
knows Michael Dell when he was Dell Computers. Everyone when he was sitting in his dorm room.
Yeah, I had no clue who that was until
Dell Computers. Michael Dell was in his dorm room. He said, "I don't want to go to college. I don't. This is not for me. I want to be a businessman. I want to start a business." So he told his mom that he was, yes, I'm doing great in college, Mom, and he started selling computers out of his dorm room. I think he was assembling them and selling them, and he started a business out of his dorm room. And Jeff Bezos, I'm sure you guys all see those Amazon packages coming to your house because I sure do. And he started that out of his garage. Now, do you think anyone?
Do you think they were comfortable doing that?
No.
Do you think that was easy for them?
No, absolutely not.
Because they had the criticism of people going, "Oh my God, is this guy nuts? I mean, is he really? Why aren't you finishing school? Blah 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 blah." But they had the vision. So if you have that vision and you see yourself down the road, whether it's 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, as a success, and you keep that in your mind, yes, you can become that. You could become what you believe you want to be.
The other day, I was in my room. I think I was like, I don't even know what I was doing, but I have this like notepad thingy that I just like write stuff down. And in the first page of it, it said, I wrote in it, and I said, I hit 1,000 subscribers October, whatever, 2019. I was like, I
love that.
Oh my God. No, it was crazy. I was like, this is like not even, like, this is insane. But I also think it's important that you make accomplishments for yourself and not to prove others wrong. Like,
yeah,
I think that's a very, very important, and I think a lot of people can get that. Like, what I can't find the words today. I'm not.
I feel the same way, but what I'm sure a lot of you have heard this. My haters are my motivators. You don't always. That's not the healthiest way to go forward in business.
Sometimes
it helps. Sometimes you be like, oh yeah, watch this. There are a lot of like super successful people that in sports, in all kinds of things, that would go to the prom without a date, and they'd be there, and they'd look around, and they'd be in their tuxedo, and they'd go home and say, nah, man, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to be the best football player that ever lived. I'm going to be the best bodybuilder that ever lived. I'm going to be the next strong man. I'm going to be the next home run hitter. And they get in their own head about, there are some people that are just super motivated. And if you're not just super motivated, but you want things also, you can make yourself super motivated.
I was about to ask you that, Dad. I was about to say, what do you feel like? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have the motivation, and sometimes maybe you are a motivated person, but that 1 month is just not good for you, and you feel like every day's repeating itself, and you don't know what to do to get out of this rut.
I went through that this past year really bad.
Then for the both of you, this question is for, what is a good way to get yourself out of that rut of just feeling like you're in a constant, every day is the same, and you want to get out of that and be motivated again?
I could start with that.
Or be motivated for the first time, whatever it is.
You have to say, what if you're happy with yourself and you're happy with how things are in your life and you're happy doing that's fine. But if you're not and you want better things and you're looking at life and saying, I want a big house. I want to have that kind of car. I want to make that kind of money. I want that kind of notoriety in a field or whatever it might be. You have to sit back and look at your life and say, what is it that I'm not happy about? And it's okay to not be happy about your life. You don't have to be, I'm so happy. Because everyone could change and everyone could change for the better and everyone could, but you have to take a real good look at yourself. And you have to sit down when no one's around to bother you, wherever it is. Go to a park. Go if you have a car, go sit in your car somewhere. If you have a room, just tell your family, just give me an hour or two. I'm okay, everyone, but just give me an hour. I want to go in my room. I want to think. I want to visualize. And you have to sit there and visualize what you want to be. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Not only was he a great bodybuilder, he became one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. He became the governor of Hollywood. He would have loved to become president. This is not a political thing either. He would have loved to become president, but he wasn't born in this country, so he can't, according to the Constitution, I believe it is. But he would say, you must visualize. You must see what you want to be and look and start from where you are and get a plan together, put it on paper and go for it.
I want to add to what you said about not being happy with your life. Something that's very important that I tell people all the time is you can't look for happiness in other places. You can't say, oh, if I just move to this place, I'll be so happy. If I have this house, I'll be so happy. You have to find happiness within where you are right now and who you're around. Maybe you got to weed out some bad, people. But it's so important to find happiness within where you are, because moving to another place is not going to make you happy. You're going to have the same problems. Everything's going to be the same. You're just going to be a different place.
There's an expression. I don't mean to interrupt, but there's an expression
you're not interrupting.
There's an expression called the grass is never green. The grass isn't greener on the other side. So in other words, when you're looking at...
the grass is always greener on the other side.
Dad just switched it for his own analogy. Go ahead.
It is not.
It's an analogy.
It is. Like
The
looking over the fence, it always looks greener, but it isn't.
I know it as the grass isn't greener on the other side. In other words, if you think you're going to jump over that fence...
Can you please look that up?
We need to back up after this. Go ahead. Say what you were going to say.
Right? Okay. So in other words, when you're looking over a fence, in other words, it's got to be so much better over there. What am I doing here? No, make your happiness where you are. Start it from there.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
All right.
Okay.
30,
wait.
50 years
This is weird because you said the grass is always greener on the other side. You took that as you're looking over and it looks greater because you don't know what's going on.
You want to hear the definition?
I took it as have always taken that saying as you'll get there and it will be greener on the other side. You just have to keep going.
Other circumstances seem more desirable than one's own, but in reality are often not.
So I had totally wrong.
Yeah, the grass isn't greener on the other side.
No, but
the grass is always greener on the other side. You're looking over the fence, and it's so much greener.
Mind.
Yes,
it's not actually.
That's so funny because
the way I see it is, it's not greener.
You're not just going to go against a saying that has been said for years.
Why can't I change it?
You're just going to change it now?
The neutral drop version.
But that's so funny because a lot of the time I think I'm happy with my own life. I have a good life, whatever. I created a good life for myself. And this just goes to show that a lot of people can feel this way, even if you're content with yourself, especially with social media these days. So I will look at somebody else or listen to someone else's podcast, look at their Instagram, and I'm like, oh, their life seems so good. I would love to live that life for a day. I would love to see what it's like to live like that. Meanwhile, I'm so happy over here with my life. Yeah. Why am I comparing my life to theirs? It's just insane what social media makes you do.
I think it's human nature.
Yeah.
Also, I think a lot of people don't post their bad days.
And nobody does.
Literally, every single time I'm like, I'm just having the worst day, I post it because I'm like, no one shows that. And I want to show you guys that, I have, literally yesterday, I had such a bad day. I was hysterically crying, just so bad. And I was like, why don't I post this right now? Because like my life seems perfect because that's how I put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I want to share that that's not like
how it always is.
No, at all. Not even
I
close
think
to it.
I have a question for you guys. What would you want to be doing as a job if you couldn't do your job right now?
I think I would want to be an esthetician and do like facials, makeup.
Well, that sounds
I
cool.
think
Stuff like that.
I would want to be a stylist. That's the first thing that just
A
came to my head.
hairstylist
No,
or
like clothes.
Oh,
Like
clothes. That's a good one. Like a personal stylist.
Yeah. That just keeps
Also,
my head
a
off the
personal
top.
shopper would be great
Yeah,
too. That would be
like
fun.
If I could, is this like if I could do it over again type of question? Could I kind of spin it that way?
Yeah.
All right. I would love to have gone to Wall Street and created like a Wall Street hedge fund where I'm in helicopters and private jets and all that kind of stuff. Me and Uncle Timmy did that. Years ago, I'll give you a quick story. Years ago, they're
never quick, everybody.
I know. Get ready for a real long story. And by the way, I got to tell you guys, I'm very today. I have horrible allergies, and I'm on a couple of allergy medications.
See,
so
you are not having a good day, and you're sharing
smooth?
it because
Of course
you're
I'm gonna
not
share it.
perfect.
Listen,
See?
it's never a perfect day.
Exactly.
We'll get into that. How everyone wakes up with a headache sometimes. I don't care how much money you have. You still have a bad day. You'll still get stomach cramps and have to run out of a restaurant. I don't care if you have a limo outside.
I've literally done that with a rich girl. She had stomach cramps and had to run out of the restaurant.
There you go. That's my point.
Wait, that's really
you know,
funny.
I don't care. You're still gonna get on your private jet and go, oh my God, I have so much to do at home, and the dog's not feeling well, and I have to, the dog's at the vet, and
So this is an example of be happy with what you have.
Yeah, and I get caught in that all the time as well. But years ago, Uncle Timmy and I Uncle Timmy went down first. He became a stockbroker. He passed his Series 7 exam. Because it was almost like a gold rush back in the early 90s, like the late 80s, early 90s. So we were in our very early 20s, and people were going down to Wall Street and making $500, $600, $700, $1 million a month. These young guys, it was crazy. Driving Lamborghinis, guys had houses in the Hamptons. When you see a 24-year-old with a mansion in the Hamptons, and he's got a penthouse apartment in Manhattan, he's got 2 Lamborghinis, 5 Ferraris. He's got everything. We wanted that too. So we went down there and we busted our butts. But we realized that it was one of those things like if
Graham,
you're unbelievable.
Graham is throwing laundry baskets down the steps.
Don't come upstairs because we're doing a podcast.
She just chucked a laundry basket down the steps.
Yeah, as much as she says she doesn't want to be on this podcast, it seems like she really wants to.
She really wants the attention. Graham, is she up here?
Around, trying to get on.
Graham? She's silent now. Okay. So you see that?
It's fine. So now
continue.
We went down there and we were surprised to find out that like if you weren't on the inside already making that money and part of that group of guys that were already on the inside, you were on the outside. So we stayed there for about 1.5 years, 2 years. But I mean, at the time, I had Brianna, I believe, and it was hard to stick it out and stay down there. But I wish I could have stayed down there and maybe created.
Take your pop filter and pop it back in.
His spit guard.
Ooh.
Good?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could have stayed down there. And if me and Uncle Timmy stuck it out down there, yeah, we'd be billionaires. But anyway, it is what it is.
But also,
sometimes you just don't want to be on the outside.
That camera just get a little
all is well, Dad. I got
you
it.
have to remember you had like a 1-year-old at home, and it's not like you can just wait there and make no money while you're waiting. You know what I mean?
That was the problem.
Yeah.
I was in the car business. I mean, what I did, the funny thing was I went down to Wall Street and I ended up hustling like 5 stockbrokers out of their cars and selling their cars and everything. So, the hustle is in me.
You were meant to be where you are right now.
Listen, as you guys can see, I love to talk. I could just babble forever. But, perfect example. What I spoke about before is I'm on allergy medication. Allergies hit me like crazy. And I'm like, But look, the show must go on, folks. And I'm still loving what I do right now. I'm just a little more mellow, I think.
And that's okay.
I have a question for you, actually. how do you every single day wake up and just work? Like, what if you're just like, I literally cannot, like, I just feel like
There's no
because-
such thing.
like I literally will wake up and be like, I cannot move. I feel like I can just be in like a bad headspace and I'm like, no, I can't do anything today. But also, wait, just go.
No, go
take it
ahead.
back.
I don't want to interrupt.
But also, I feel like I'm mentally a little bit weak. So
No. You're not weak because you're 17.
I also go through a lot every day.
Listen to me. When I was 17, I was in school, rebellious as anything, not wanting to be there, not having any vision of what I wanted in the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's my phone inside, everyone.
Yep,
okay.
his phone's ringing.
And yeah, but business never stops. That'll just prove it right there.
Yep,
But
it's Sunday
my
right now.
point, yeah, I still answer the phone on Sunday. But, okay, so at your age, no, I wasn't. At Brookes' age, no, I still wasn't motivated. I knew, at Brookes' age, I knew what
I'm
I
21,
wanted.
by the way.
She's 21. I knew what I wanted. I didn't know the right way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And did I do some crazy wrong things when I was young? Yes, that's another episode. If the girls will allow me to,
Of course.
get into that, I will.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm from Queens.
We can get into it right now.
I never even got into it on my channel.
Oh,
with a lot
so
of
you wanna
things that-
really get
no,
into it
no,
on
no,
there?
no. I'm not worried about talking about it on my channel. But if we're gonna get real here and it's gonna be a podcast, I'm not gonna get into too much detail. But if you guys Google like Queens 1989, 90, 91, 92, what was going on the streets and all that, yeah, I was kind of in the mix of that. And definitely the wrong way to go. Didn't know that when I was that age.
That's all you
it's
ever
what
knew.
I knew. It's how I grew up. It was just the mentality. Was I working? No. Was I hustling? Yes. Was I dealing drugs? No. That's one thing
I
that
thought you were just about to say yes.
No,
I was
no,
like,
no,
wait
no,
a
no, no.
second.
No, that's one
No.
thing I'm
Oh
so
my God.
against. So against. It's not even funny.
Same.
And as crazy as this might sound, I had friends that would, they were into that business or whatever it was years ago. One of them went to jail for that. And one of the toughest guys in the jail came up to him and said, you know what? I'm going to kick your ass. He's like, what do you, he just got into jail. He's like, what are you talking about? He goes, I don't like drug dealers. And it's like,
That's not
you
a
would
sound
never,
effect.
you would
feeling.
never
Ooh.
think you'd hear that in jail.
No.
Yeah,
you know?
what?
And it's because he had a sister that overdosed.
Mm.
You understand? That's when people are,
It's touchy for him.
dilly-dallying around thinking they're drug dealers and this, that, and the other thing. You have to understand that there are families that really, especially today.
Mm-hmm.
Today, it's 10
Oh
times
my
worse
God, I know.
than it was. And I also want to get into a discussion about that. I don't know if we should get...
We can do anything.
Listen,
our
it's
our
anything
podcast.
goes. This is our podcast, and we're going to... Okay. Years ago, there was pot, there was cocaine, okay, and there
That's
was...
unfortunately still around
It
very
is
much.
still around. There
The
was
H.
there was not really heroin, but
The
it was in my family. I had an uncle that was very hooked on drugs, so I learned about it at a very young age about
And it was
drugs.
like right in front of you.
Right in front of me, and I knew, he told me, he said to me, Uncle Kevin, rest in peace, he said to me, he goes, if there's one thing you learn from me, it's don't do drugs.
He knew it too.
He knew it. 100%. He goes, I ruined my life. I threw my life away. He used to disappear in the South Bronx. You wouldn't see him my grandmother would cry and this and that. He'd be gone for months.
It's what drugs do.
But
It's terrible.
It's terrible. But even back then, guys would overdose on heroin. They normally wouldn't die. Nobody really overdosed on cocaine. They would have a heart attack. They would have. They would kind of go into like a crazy fit and end up in the hospital because they just did too much and they kind of went like they had like a psychological thing go on. And, but today there's something called fentanyl. Okay, and I'm not. You have to understand something. I'm not preaching anti whatever. I don't agree with drugs. I don't like drugs. But when you were a kid in the 80s or the 90s and you tried a drug, okay, you didn't die. You didn't necessarily die from it, okay? But today, you could be in college or you could be a senior in high school and somebody gets something off their friend from Brooklyn or their friend from out east in Long Island or wherever it may be.
It
Because
could
it
be
comes
from your friend.
everywhere. It could be from your friend next door.
They don't know.
Okay. And you think, oh, I'm going to try coke. It'll be cool. And the drug dealers are putting fentanyl in everything. So a little granule of it can kill you. So if you're ever, and they make everything look like it's real. It looks like it's a real pill from the pharmacy. It's not. Just assume it's not and just don't do it. It's as simple as that because, imagine this. You do it. Who gets the phone call? Your mother or your father. And they're going to hear that you're dead. And
All because you just wanted to do a line of coke for what? For 10 minutes?
For whatever it is. And you're dead. And you're not coming back. And you just ruin their lives. End of story.
And your life is over. You're done.
Your life is over. All right. Sad, terrible. You're gone. You're gone. Your worries are over. How about your family? How about your friends? How about it's not a good thing, and it's happening so much right now.
So much.
But what was I even talking about? Oh, so
how you have had been rough around the edges.
A little rough around the edges growing up.
My first question was, how do you?
Well, God.
We totally shied away from everything.
Was how do you get up for work every day? And you're just like, okay, I just need to go.
He's like, you will die.
All right, now.
That was the original question.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got there.
At Brookes' age, I was probably sleeping until 12:31 and just running around, meeting my friends and going out and running around. But let's fast forward to becoming responsible, getting married.
Okay.
Brianna's on the way. And I said, what am I going to do for a living?
It was crunch time.
Probably so stressful.
At our wedding, when we got married, I know people were looking at me going, what is it? What does this guy do for a living? He doesn't have a job and this and that and blah, 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 blah. So I started my car business. And how do I get up in the morning? I'm going to say the absolute necessity to make it happen. There is I don't have any leeway. It's do or die. It's make it happen. And
one thing you always say to
I
me
get up
is
and go.
You have to wake up and act like you have no money.
Oh, absolutely. Let's say you had a good day. You wake up on a Monday, you go out and you make $2,000. Whatever business you're in, you make $2,000. You can't wake up Tuesday and go, I made $2,000 yesterday.
No.
All's well. But you see, this is what I had to learn. This is not what I knew.
Yeah.
Okay,
it didn't
because
just come naturally.
I did say, hey, I made $2,000 yesterday. I'm fine. Hey, you know what? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, relax. Then I start panicking on Friday. No, you have to say, good Monday. Tuesday, I want to make it better. Tuesday might not necessarily be better. If it is better, great. But you have to get up every morning like you are broke and hustle hard and get into that habit. You have to form that habit of doing that every day.
But I would like to add that it also, not working hard every day, that's important. Thinking about money too much can get very toxic and very consuming and
Guilty.
too much. Just
Guilty.
It can get very
Overhere's the
overwhelming. And I think it's also important to have a balance between, obviously, you should get up and work hard every day, but don't be pondering in your mind every 5 seconds about money.
You see, this is another thing I learned late in life. A very good friend of mine, very dear friend of mine, very successful. We were friends for 30-something years, and he was always just a natural businessman. I always asked him for advice all the time. And as we got older, he says to me, I was just on the phone with him yesterday. He's like, you got to relax. You got to slow down. You have to enjoy. We're not going to be here forever. He always has that little extra something that maybe I don't think of or have. And what he explained to me was, he said, you and I both self-medicate with business, with work. We self-medicate with work. So in other words, if I'm not working or if I take a week off, or which I rarely do, I don't say, I'm not gonna say I go crazy, but
No, you do.
Your mind starts to, you start to think of, I gotta do this. In other words, okay, I could put it best like this. When you're working and when you're busy, your mind gets lost in the work, and you are occupied.
You're distracted.
Your mind is
from
occupied
your thoughts and
with work, and your thoughts don't creep up on you, and you don't start to think too much.
That's why I like to keep myself busy.
You have to keep
Which
busy.
is
But
purpose.
of me.
it's also important to have a day to let yourself feel your feelings, because you're going to be avoiding them for the rest of your life if you don't
Yes.
like really see how you feel and take a minute to not be distracted from your thoughts. But that it's true, because for both of you, when I know that all of us here are very passionate about what we do, so that's important and special, but when you think back on your life and you look at, oh, this was such a good time, and you look at the memories, like, what do you remember? Do you remember, oh, that day at work that I did so good? Or do you remember, oh, that's that amazing time we went to the beach with the family and we did this and
That's
that?
an awesome point.
What is the most important thing to you in life?
It's not that day at work that, absolutely not. It's the times with family. It's the times we went to Aruba and went on vacation and got an Airbnb and just got away and had laughs. And those are the times I don't talk about work. I don't come home and talk about work
never.
at all. I just don't. And believe me when I tell you, there's a lot I could talk about. But it's not.
You'll tell us stories,
I'll
but
tell
you're
stories
not...
once in a while. I leave it at the door. And that's something I had to learn from my wife. I used to come home aggravated. She stopped me once and goes, "You have to leave it at the door. You can't bring work and the aggravation that work brings home. It's not healthy. It's not good for the kids." And I did. I learned to leave it. I'm telling you, I get to that front door and I turn that key. I shut it off. And sometimes it's very hard.
Yeah, I'm sure that's very hard.
Sometimes
Because
it's very hard.
I can come home just in the worst mood from like having a horrible day, and it's hard for me to just be like, oh, I'm fine. It's not even an option for me sometimes.
Yeah,
I wish
but
it was.
to you, what is the most memorable things to you? Like, are you remembering that really good video that you made, or are you remembering the times where you made memories with the people you care about?
Both, which is toxic.
That's not toxic.
No, it is.
No.
But you're passionate about what you do, so
Yeah, I guess.
but it's just it puts into perspective. Everyone's different, but it puts into perspective what is really important in life when you think about stuff like that. Like, what really, when you think about good times, what do you think about? And that
Also,
shows what's the most important to you and what you value the most.
I think when I'm having a good week or a good month, that's when my channel's doing good. Is that making any sense?
Yes.
Like when I'm in like a good
Well, yeah, you're an
headspace,
online presence.
and like that's when I'm having a like
When you're
a good-
popping
yes.
online.
No, but that's just when like I'm happy myself. It's like when I'm doing good online.
Oh, so
Is that
you're
making
saying
sense?
that I thought it was opposite. You're saying that you feel good and best when you're doing well in your work.
I have a theory.
Yes.
I have a theory that each thing is working off of itself. So in other words, you're feeling good about your channel does good, right? You're feeling good about that. Therefore, you put out good content, and it's boom, back and forth, bouncing off, good stuff bouncing off of each other. When you're not putting out good content and stuff's not clicking, you're not feeling good, and maybe when you go online or you go on to do a video or whatever, it's not, your best work is not coming out.
Completely agree.
I think we're gonna get more towards the end of the episode, but I would like to end it off with a tip that you guys have to feel your best and kind of just, anything in that sort where you let's say you're having a stressed out day, whatever it is that you do to make yourself go, all right, it's going to be fine. Because I know I have
Brittany,
one.
would you like to start? And I'll go ahead.
I like to take a shower. I like to take a long hot shower, play my favorite song, my favorite playlist, relax, go into my room, put on a podcast on my TV, put on a face mask and lay down and do nothing.
Okay.
my
My
boyfriend.
thing, my advice. I know not everybody's into this, and this takes a lot of practice, and it's not going to be easy at first, but I love.
and I'm sorry to
love-
talk over you and put down my phone.
Okay, that's important.
Yeah, I had to add that
Needed
in
to be added.
Not during the podcast though.
I was
yeah,
trying
no,
to
she's
order
on her
something
phone.
on Amazon. Okay.
If you guys are watching the video,
Very
You can
tonight,
order
important.
something on
elbowed
Amazon
her.
after.
I elbow her
Yeah, and I don't put my phone
phone.
down.
Anyway,
Brittany, you're kind of off camera. Could you lean into the camera a little
Sorry,
bit?
girlies.
Alright.
I
There you
like
go.
to do breath work, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be a 2-minute video that you put on YouTube. My favorite is 4-7-8 breathing, and what you do is you breathe in for what?
5 minutes left.
Oh yeah, Brian's just always trying to wrap us up in the back.
I have the time over here.
I have the time over here too. So I like to, you breathe in for 5 seconds, you hold for 7, and you breathe out for 8. It scientifically lowers your heart rate and just relaxes you out, and you kind of have a clear mind after that. So you can look that up on YouTube. You could do it for 2 minutes. Takes a little bit of practice, but it actually changed my life.
I guess we're going to me now.
Yep.
I've actually, over the years, I've gone through a lot of anxiety. I'm not going to say I'm a person with anxiety, because I'm not, but I've gone into situations where, yeah, I have had it with business, with, things that are brewing that could maybe a court date, maybe. And I've gotten very good at compartmentalizing those things and saying, okay,
That's important in
that's
life.
going here, and I'm not thinking about it until it's time. In other words, the court date, or when I have whatever it might be.
Yep.
Okay, renewing my license for business. There's things that kind of get me a little bit, but there are also times when I can't do that, and those things are popping into my head, and I like to put things on paper. So when you have, let's say,
You're a big list guy.
I am a
Yeah.
list guy. So let's go to I'll put myself in the demographic of the girls, okay? The young ladies. I don't mean to say girls like girls.
It's okay. We don't care.
I know they know what I mean, but I want you guys to know what I mean. Let's say you have the SATs coming up. You have prom. You have you're getting your license. You don't know
You're
if
going
you're
away to college.
gonna get a car or not, or if you could afford a car, or if you're gonna get that summer job so you could save a few bucks. You're picking colleges or whatever. Put it on paper, okay? Prom date, June 2nd.
I do this too.
Already got a dress. Need to find a limo company. Blah 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 blah.
Is
Put
this
it-
from personal experience?
Already got a
He's like-
dress.
already got my dress and my
Let me
heels.
just listen. Let me just tell you. I have my daughters. It's so nice. My sons, jab. They don't give me an inch. They'll always, but we go back and forth. We rank on each other. It's good stuff.
We
Good
should
fun.
have. We don't have enough mics, but we should have both of the boys on at once.
We will. I'll get more mics. Not
Okay.
a problem. Don't worry about it. We'll upgrade the whole system.
Just for
but
one episode.
Put things on paper, and this way it's out of your mind and it's on paper. Not that you totally forgot about it, but when you need to think about it, you look at the paper. Now, the other thing is my way of doing it is I'll break things down. All right? Life's going pretty good. Everyone's healthy. Business is okay. I'm doing what I love to do. There are a few little headaches. Those things will pass. There's a saying out there, this too shall pass. And that's how you have to look at things and say, we're not going to be here forever. Don't
Yeah.
stress. Although it's hard, I'm not making it like
Of course,
it's easy.
it's easier said than done.
Easier said than
Like
done.
you said, when you like to break things down, something I like to also do is if I am in an annoyed situation, like for example, my mom was redoing my room and I was very stressed about it because we
Ooh.
had it in a time crunch, and I was just very stressed and annoyed. And then I was like, all right, how can I switch this around? I'm like, I'm so lucky that I have a mom that wants to redo my room in the first place. I'm lucky that I'm able to have the resources to even redo my room. I'm lucky that I have a room, so maybe I should just relax because it's not that serious. So that helps. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching if you're here on YouTube. Make sure to rate our podcast 5 stars and leave a review. It helps us out a lot. Add us to your playlist and stream on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and you can watch over on YouTube.
And
Anything else my co-host have to say?
This was an awesome episode number 8.
Mm-hmm.
And love you guys. Love you guys.
Love you.
I think it's the best episode 8 yet.
It's the best episode 8.
This is our best 8th episode ever. Ever.
All right, guys.
Love you all.
Love you. Peace
Bye.
out.
We are out.